Well, we are back, and yeah, we are here at King's Cross with a Class 180 right next to us here. Quite a long 180. Actually, it's a pretty standard 180. It's just that our train is very short compared to it. So our number 2 driver has taken us from Paddington, where we arrived at the end of the previous section, and brought us here to King's Cross. It's taken him just over half an hour, which is why it's now just gone noon. So we've got to set the train up again, as we have only just arrived here. Right, this is not going to take too long. I can also let you know that the weather has got worse, and it has indeed started to rain. I did predict that was a possibility, and it has started. Now let's let passengers on. And we are pretty much all set to go once the door's shut. Quite a few people who are getting on here. So this is the start of the East Coast Main Line section. What part of the East Coast Main Line? The whole thing. So our first stop is Peterborough, 76.39 miles from here. So let's get underway. So we have the usual 15 mph limit as we are leaving this London terminus. And once we leave the sheltered part of the station, here comes the rain. Right, where's the windscreen wipers controls? I think it's somewhere around here. No, it ain't. Here it is. Can I speed them up? Yeah, right. So once we are part way through the old gasworks tunnel here, we can accelerate up to 45. So obviously now that we are on the East Coast Main Line, there are going to be quite a few sections where we can do 125. But the first of them doesn't appear until we have passed Welwyn Garden City. So we have got a little way to go before we can start going at 125, but anyway, we can now at least get up to 45. We did lose a lot of speed there. We're on a 1 in 107 uphill. Yeah, we're still on this 1 in 107 climb, so when we throttle down, speed does come down really quickly. Anyway, we're now into a 65 zone. once we leave this tunnel, which I'm pretty sure is Holloway Tunnel, we'll very soon be into an 80 zone, and then in a 90 zone as we reach the first station that we'll be going through, which is Finsbury Park. I have it on pretty good authority that Jim from Jim Plays is also going to be covering this route, and when I say this route I mean the entire East Coast Main Line himself. I think I know the train he's going to use. I'm not going to reveal any spoilers there, I'll let you discover, but if it is the one I'm thinking, I am absolutely certain there will be no complaints whatsoever about his choice of loco. I can also reveal that there has been an additional route to the routes that are available to request, thanks to Gan's Teeth, who gifted me, as we go through Finsbury Park here, gifted me the Glasgow subway route. So yeah, big thanks for that. That is really appreciated, and completely unexpected, I don't mind admitting. Let's do our radio test.
Welcome to the remote radio test unit. Please leave your message after the test.
This is the NRN radio test call.
Go through Haringey station there, the avoiding line.
This is the NRN radio test call.
Always sounds so thrilled to be doing the radio test call there. But anyway, that worked just fine. Not the biggest of surprises. So there goes a 700. We had a 365 that we passed just a few seconds before that. So we're into a 95 zone, and in about a mile and a half we can take it up to 3 figures. So it looks like a 321 that's parked to the side there. So we've already seen more AI trains on this route, as it looks like we've got another 365 that we are passing. So yeah, we've already seen more AI trains on this route than we did in the first 4 parts of this run combined. I'm not sure what station that is that we've just been through there, but yeah, we were on the avoiding line. It might have been Alexandra Palace. So once we get to the end of this tunnel, we are going to be entering a 100 mph zone as we approach New Southgate station. And once we are through New Southgate station, I can then start answering the questions that were put to me that I didn't get the chance to answer in the previous video. So here we are at New Southgate. Very bog standard station, nothing particularly impressive about it. So we are going to be entering a 115 zone in just a mile's time as we then approach Oakley Park. So the next question then was what are my transport hates? Well, anyone vaguely familiar with me or my channel knows that yeah, I'm quite adept at being able to voice my hates. There are two that really do stand out as far as like public transport. This applies as much to buses as it does to trains. We are now in the 115 zone, and here is Oakley Park Station. Yeah, still on with the signal box right on the platform. Well, actually it's right above the platform, but we really don't have much further to go before we reach New Barnet Station. Here we are. So yeah, that was New Barnet. So the two big pet hates. One of them is one that he gave as an example for his own, and yeah, it's mobile phones. I absolutely detest the anybody who comes onto a bus or train and straight away they're on their phone and they have it, you know, with the speakers up as loud as they can. If you really must use your fucking mobile phone on either, you know, this is Hadley Wood Station by the way, but yeah, if you really must use your fucking mobile phone on either a bus or a train, then either use the fucking headphones that almost certainly came with it, or put it on mute. You may want to listen to the shit you've got playing on there. No one else does. And I can say with absolute certainty, if you are one of these people who does this, that everybody else who is on either the bus or in the same carriage as you not only hates you, but are entertaining thoughts of killing you. And I know it's not just me, because believe me, I am very much one of those people who is thinking along them lines. But yeah, it's not just me. So yeah, that is one that really does fucking boil my piss. I hate it. And it's one of the reasons why I think there should be guards on every train still. And in particular, they should be stationed on the train's so-called quiet carriage. Because, unsurprisingly, whenever I'm having to travel by train these days, I will only ever go on the quiet carriage. And yeah, that's where there should be a guard there, so that when you get some cunt who comes along and invariably ignores the fact that it's the quiet carriage, the guard is right there to say, right, you're off at the next stop whether you like it or not. So Brookman's Park, again, very very drab, forgettable station. We are pretty much leaving the London commuter stations behind now. So my other really big public transport hate, this is this more sort of applies to buses than it does trains, but it's when people get on the bus, they see that there are two seats, you know, next to each other available, and then they sit down in the aisle seat. And yeah, that again absolutely infuriates me. So when the bus starts getting pretty full, they are doing that specifically because they're hoping that anyone else who gets on will not want to, you know, ask them to either move across or they won't want to try and get into the seat by the window because it will be a big hassle, and that's why they do it. But again, I can tell you it doesn't work, because if I get on a train, a bus, sorry, and yep, it's pretty full and there's no place for me to sit down, so we go through Hatfield station. I still think it's well in Hatfield, but there you go. Yeah, if I get on a bus, it's pretty full, I will specifically look out for people who are doing that, and I'll take the seat that's next to them. Those who are sitting by the window and have left the seat next to them free because yet they know other people are going to want to get on, I've got no problem with them at all. I don't, you know, not complain about them at all. But these others who are sitting in the aisle seat, yeah, they're the ones. So I now always deliberately choose to sit next to those. You know, your shopping bag does not need a seat. So, you know, don't use that as an excuse as to why you are, yeah, effectively trying to take up 2 seats. There's only one of you. You don't need 2 seats. So you can either shift, or you can get out of the way while I go and sit, you know, on the window seat there. But yeah, the fact that you have done that deliberately to try and make sure that no one's sitting next to you is why I choose to be even more of a pain in the arse. And the thing is, they can't say no, because a lot of the time if I'm getting on the bus, I'm using my walking stick, and yeah, if they then refuse, it makes them look like an absolute cunt to everybody else on the bus. So they never refuse, and believe me, I am well aware of that fact. So we are approaching Welling North as we get over this rather impressive viaduct, and we pass another 365. So it's actually, yeah, it's Welling North that is the station we need to pass before we can do 125. I thought it was Welling Garden City itself. Don't really need to the windscreen wipers on while we are going through this tunnel, but nevertheless I can't be asked to switch them off just to then, yeah, have to turn them on again as soon as we leave the tunnel. But we're now in the 125 zone as we are approaching Nebworth. So it looks like we have actually been through Welling Garden City, but it was through the avoiding line. So yeah, we're now entering the very many vast expanses of open countryside and basically absolutely bugger all, which the East Coast Main Line is always going through. We have a 319 that we've passed, so we've not only had loads more other trains on this route compared to all the previous ones, we've also had a good deal of variety. I mean, we've had 365s, 221s, 700s, now a 319. Stevenage is the next station coming up in about a mile and a half. I think actually we can now get away with slowing down the windscreen wipers a bit. Yeah, I think we'll be alright. Alright, what have we got coming up here? And that was a 180. So yeah, plenty of variety of trains. So here we are at Stevenage. So anyway, those are my two biggest transport hates. Go on to the next question. What do you think of the new GBR livery? I think it looks alright. It is a bit busy, but yeah, I don't think it looks too bad. I mean, I do prefer the rather simpler, cleaner sort of design of the GBR Freight. You know, the blue and orange. I mean, I've made no secret that I really like that livery. But yeah, the GBR passenger service livery looks absolutely fine to me. No problem with it at all. I dare say that it is only a matter of time before we get some freeware liveries of trains with yeah, that particular GBR livery appearing in Train Simulator Classic. I know it has already shown up in Train Sim World 6. So yeah, I'm sure it will come along in Train Simulator Classic fairly soon. I mean, the trains using that livery are not going to actually be, you know, coming along in real life until the spring. So yeah, we've got a few months yet before we're going to see them for ourselves, you know, out there. But we know they're on their way, and I think it looks alright. This is Hitchin station we're approaching, but yeah, we're on the avoiding line here. Another 319 there. I'm not sure what that route was. I think that's the route that goes towards I think that's the route that eventually takes you to King's Lynn and takes you through Letchworth. Right, next question. Are there any locos stroke routes you wish had more requests? I can't help thinking that question is sort of, yeah, it's a bit of a leading question, that one. It's like trying to influence the requests that are coming my way. Route wise, no, because obviously I don't have anything like as many routes as I do locos, so you know, I've got no problem with the route requests. I mean, there are a couple I sort of think, you know, I'm quite surprised that they haven't appeared in more videos than they have, but I certainly can't go so far as to say, God, I wish that one got chosen more often. Loco wise though, yeah, there are some that I think, you know, are really great, but they just don't get chosen for any reason, you know. For example, 90% of the time, if I'm asked to do a freight run, it's always in the 66. So you know, some of the great freight locos, you know, like the 56, the 92, the 60, they never get a look in. The 20, yeah, but because the 66 is the one that everyone knows as being the you know, the freight loco, it's the one that everyone asks for. I mean, it is entirely possible that, yeah, the people who are requesting only know the 66 for freight and they don't realise, you know, some of the other freight loco options out there. I mean, it's pure guesswork on my part, so if you are one of those who does know all about the others, you know, no, I'm not saying you're a fucking idiot and you don't know what you're talking about and all this guff. What I'm saying is, everyone keeps asking for the 66 to do freight runs, and there are plenty of others out there. And I am not complaining about it either, in case anyone chooses to interpret it that way. Right. The final question that I have, because yeah, I didn't get any additional ones when I did the last video, but then, I mean, that last part was, you know, Reading to Paddington. It wasn't exactly a long video, so I don't think anyone watching it really had the chance to think up any others before the video ended. We are approaching Biggleswade Station. There we are. That really is a bugger all nothing station, isn't it? I mean, there is nothing there. So yes, okay, right. Final question. What is your top 5 most difficult trains to drive? I'm going to be brutally honest, I don't like the way that question was asked, because that suggests that the trains are difficult to drive. They're not more difficult to drive, they are just different to, you know, any of the others. Although that said, yeah, certainly one of the trains in my top 5, and I did even write a list down because I knew I wasn't going to remember them. One of these, yeah, I would go so far as to say it is a difficult one to drive. So I thought we were approaching Sandy Station, but no, I'm not actually seeing the station itself. Past another 321. And a 365 on the other side. Ah, here is Sandy Station. So yeah, it's basically a list of trains that are different, you know, to drive compared to, you know, your regular diesels and electrics, and take a bit of getting used to. But I would, you know, with the exception of the number 1, I would not actually describe any of these as difficult. So at number 5, and I've given this to 2 because they drive identically, is the class 506 and the class 503. Because if you try driving those trains with any sort of degree of finesse, they will just crawl along. So you've really got to treat them like shit, basically. Just, you are constantly, you know, as soon as you're applying the power, you are slamming it straight into, you know, the weak field, straight into the top notch. And once the amps start getting really low, you've got to take the throttle back down to 0, and then again straight away you're slamming it back into a weak field again. And if you don't do that, then yeah, it does just crawl along. But once you've got into that habit, and let's face it, I've well and truly got into that habit because I drive pretty much every single train like that, then yeah, you'll have no problem at all with it. Okay, so yeah, that's number 5. At number 4 is the Class 76. Specifically, it's the version from the Woodhead line, not the Woodhead line in blue. So yeah, the 1950s version. That it does take a bit of getting used to, that one, there's no doubt about it, but yeah, once you've done so, it's fine, but yeah, it takes a lot of getting used to actually, that one. But of all the locomotives, and I mean specifically locomotives, not EMUs, but yeah, all the locomotives that come with the 2 Woodhead lines, that's the easiest one. So when you're just starting to get the grips with those particular locos, the 76 is definitely the one to start with, because it's the easiest one to pick up, and yeah, it's a good starting point for yeah, driving those particular locos. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have done a drive guide video for that loco. In fact, I've also done a drive guide for the 506 as we pass another 700. It could have been a 707 actually, I'm not sure. So this is St Neots station. The 319 just going past. Actually, that's 319. Looks like it was completely stationary. Okay, so at number 3 is the Class 77. So this is the second loco that you get in the Woodhead line. And again, I mean the 1950s set Woodhead line, not the Woodhead line in blue. There's not much difference between the 76 and the 77 in the Woodhead line. So we have a speed reduction coming up down to 120. There we go. Yeah, there's not much difference between the two, but nevertheless there are a few differences, and it's enough of a difference to make the Class 77 a bit more of a challenge. The main difference, as far as I can tell anyway, is that the braking system on the 77 is not as good. So you really got to watch it when you're braking in that thing. So yeah, Class 77 is at number 3. At number 2 is the Class 73. Now the thing with the 73 is that, well, this is another one that I've done a driver's guide for. But yeah, you've got the diesel engine as well as the electrical power. Now 90% of the time when you are driving a Class 73, you're going to be using the electrical power, because the diesel engine, especially if you're driving the BR in blue pack version, as we are now back in the 125 zone, yeah, that version of the 73, the diesel engine in it is atrocious. You might just sort of get up to about 20 mph in it. And when you're driving the that Class 73 or the Class 73 Gatwick Express one, then yeah, when you're driving using the electrical power, you're basically using the controls in reverse, and it's a tap changer. So if you're not used to tap changers, or if you're like Jim plays Jim, and you don't like the tap changer, then yeah, the 73 is not going to be a train that you will get on with. But just to really sort of like throw a spanner in the works, there is another Class 73 variant as we go through Huntingdon station. But yeah, there's a version of the Class 73 that you get as an added bonus if you buy the Loco DLC for the Class 460. And that one you drive very differently. There is a key that you press, and don't ask me which one it is because I'm really not sure, but it switches between electrical mode and diesel engine mode. Specifically, it changes between the control methods. So you've got the mode, well, yeah, you've got basically the system set up so that you can switch between using the diesel engine or the electric motor, but then you've also got the keyboard option there to switch between which throttle system you're using. So you could, for example, have the diesel engine running, but for whatever ridiculous reason you are going to be using the electric throttle, which is completely pointless exercise because you're not going to be getting anywhere doing that. So yeah, you have that to also keep in mind. The vast majority of the times, if you're one of those people like me who downloads a lot of third-party liveries, you know, from freeware sites, if you're getting them for the Class 73, they're nearly always for that particular one, the one that comes as the added bonus with the Class 460. So yeah, when you're driving the Class 73, you've really got to remember which version you are actually driving, because they are all slightly different to each other. But at least with that version that comes with the 460, because you're switching between using the two throttles, either the diesel throttle or the electric throttle, the controls are not set up so that you're having to use the same you know, set of controls for everything. So with that one, when you are throttling up with the tap changer using the electric motor, you're doing it the regular way. You know, it's A to move the throttle up, not D. So it does have that going for it. So yeah, Class 73 is at number 2. And at number 1, it is the only locomotive I have that has not appeared in any videos, and to be honest, I'm not that sorry about that. It's the Class 76 BX, which is the loco that comes with the Woodhead line in blue route DLC. The other one you get in that route DLC is the Class 506, so yeah, you get an EMU with it as well. But yeah, that you've actually got options with that one. There's advanced mode and there's, I think they call it basic mode. Basic mode is a hell of a misnomer. It's not that basic. Advanced mode, forget it. You've basically got to be, you know, a former Class 76 BX driver in real life to be able to get anywhere driving that thing in advanced mode. But yeah, that thing is a real handful, and I am nowhere near able to, you know, actually get anywhere with it. Hence why I'm not sorry that it has not appeared in any requests up until now. If anybody requests it now I've said that, yeah, I know exactly why you have done, so don't complain if it takes a while for that particular request to appear on the channel. So we are currently in a 105 mph zone. I'm not accelerating much at all because, yeah, we've got a 100 zone coming up, and Peterborough itself is really not that far away at all. That's 6.5 miles. So even though I only had 4 questions to answer, they've actually really filled up the time. Okay, so we're now in the 100 zone, but very soon it goes up to 115 in just over half a mile. But we won't be doing 115 for too long because, yeah, Peterborough is 5 miles away. Here we are, we're in the 115 zone. Let's throttle up again. Will we get a trackside view this time? Nope. No shortage of building sites along this part of the route. Now, here we are, we're throttling down again to 105. Might get away with just coasting down to that. Yeah, I think we'll be absolutely fine doing that. So I have it on good authority that the weather is actually going to worsen for the next part of the trip. So yeah, by the time we leave Peterborough station we could be in a real downpour, and that could start to affect our adhesion with the rails. As we have a yellow aspect here. It is a double, so yeah, that's fine. That's pretty much what we are expecting. We've got to really start braking here. We've got 30 mph approach to Peterborough. I think that is the alert for the speed reduction, not for the yellow aspect. Oh yeah, we've got wheel slip there. I've got the brakes on too hard. Let's use the sander because I've still really got to get this speed down. We are speeding quite a bit here. Yeah. I have a horrible feeling that was the first speeding error. So all that way without any speeding issues, and it was only because, yeah, basically I left the braking too late for that approach. I didn't take the weather conditions into account. And yeah, I've even overshot the the stop. Well, we will be moved back into position as we are getting ready to leave here. So yeah, here we are at Peterborough, but yeah, we'll get moved into place and let the passengers on then.